Hello everyone. So whilst Lawrie was doing his absolute best to find the worst car in the entire Southern Hemisphere, I was left to try and find its equivalent up in the north. Now, as it happens, I didn't have to go very far, because when Lawrie went off to New Zealand, he left me with this adorable little shitbox. It's his mother's Peugeot 307. Oh, that's an unfortunate title. Lawrie, it's called a rapey. That's not right. Oh. We can't put that in. It's called the Rapide. No, that's an Aston Martin.
It should be a rapier.
A rapier? More rapey?
It's missing an R.
There's the Peugeot 307 Rapide. It's a 1.6 litre petrol. Now the 307 when it came out was, it was a meh car. It was an interesting car. It's a bit bigger than the 206, 207, and it's basically a standard issue, nothing exciting to see here hatch. Now I actually quite like Citroen's equivalent of this, which is the C4. My mother had and still has one of those. That's the one, if you remember, where you turn the steering wheel and the middle stays put. This one didn't really have any of that quirky, cool French stuff though, and it was basically just a bog standard car. This particular example though has seen better days. Now, as I said, this car does belong to Lawrie's mother, but I cannot place the blame for this car's current condition solely on her. Oh no, I am told that it was given to them basically as a favour by a family member, and it came pre-bollocksed. Now, I want to show you around some of the highlights of this car. So, Lawrie, come closer. Now, I know that this car has had absolutely no expense spent on it. And you can tell that because there is this black shit all over it. Now, I spent ages wondering what this was, and actually, this is just a lot of dirt. I don't think this car's ever been cleaned. Now, there's the odd patch of mould and things here. The front's been scuffed fairly evenly. You can see the grille is starting to come away here. You know, that's for extra added airflow, you see. Currently it's a bit salty and crusty because, as you can probably see, we are in the midst of one of the worst snowstorms on record in British history. Now there's some scuff marks running up the bonnet here, and when I inquired how they got there, I was told that if I asked no questions, I'd be told no lies. So I asked no questions. Now let's head around the side. Still got a wing mirror here, that's good. Now let's pay special attention to the tyres, because we have 4 tyres, 4 different brands. This one's a Mohawk. This one's a Wind Force. We also have a 1 Cooper, and this final one back here is a Firemax. Coming round to the back here, there's quite a few marks where it's been used to load all manner of animals and light freight in the back. Bit of weight's been saved here by downgrading it from a 307 to simply the 07 model. In the boot, you'll find a couple of bits of camera kit, a chair so you can sit comfortably on for when the car inevitably breaks down. The parcel shelf has not been seen since 2014, and these seats are auto-folding seats. So basically, to activate those, you apply the brakes, and if no one's sitting there, the seats will fly down. So very, very clever, very advanced technology from the French there. Now on the inside, it gets even more interesting. And this interior is quite interesting. This dashboard here appears to be made from the remnants of a recycled Ford Fiesta ST, as it's got that same familiar blue to it. Unfortunately, it's nowhere near the quality product that a 10-year-old Ford is. The seat covers appear to be covered in what I can only describe as some sort of satanic runes. And I believe if you can actually read these, the apocalypse will ensue. Now, speaking of the apocalypse, there are some marks on the dash that I've also no interest in knowing the source of. There is a sponge here. Oh, which is... I'm going to... Have you got any antibacterial wipes, Lawrie? So, yeah, the CD changer actually is quite tricky. It's this very old-fashioned CD changer. Somehow this can play CDs from down here, so obviously it's some of the satanic black magic is working. AC, of course, doesn't work, but the fan does blow on all settings but 4. 1, 2, and 3 are fine. Radio, completely non-functional. Another trick feature that this car has is it has a body cleaning wiper system. So I'll activate that so you can see how that works. It's very, very clever. You simply turn it on here and apply a little bit of liquid and it'll move itself around. And it cleans not just the window, but the car as well. This really is some clever, clever stuff. All of these little bits seem to have mysteriously disappeared. I don't know why. But generally you can tell the fact that the car is a lack of quality product. Oh, we should talk about the engine, shouldn't we? Under here you'll see the beating heart of this real track-bred monster. You may find a few more beating hearts down there and over here. In fact, I'm pretty sure something in here was scurrying earlier. It's a 1.6 litre engine producing around 100 horsepower. I have to be honest, it does actually sound quite nice when you're giving it stick, and you need to give it stick quite frequently. Of course, the real test of a car is on the road, so let's get out there. Now, as a petrol head who gets to drive some very nice cars quite frequently, there's just something massively enjoyable about getting to drive a real piece of shit occasionally, and this car is a piece of shit. And it's very cold out there today. How cold, I don't know. Ice alert, apparently. Now, this car reckons it's... how many degrees? I know it's probably not going to tell me what to say. 3. Reckons it's 3 degrees out there. I'm not sure. Oh, look, there's the remains of the blizzard of 2018. Real doozy. So this car has a 5-speed manual gearbox, as previously mentioned, the naturally aspirated 1.6 litre petrol engine. Now, like any small capacity petrol engine, to get the best from it, you really need to work it hard. That can be quite enjoyable. So, let's get on some country lanes and see what fun we can have. Now, this car does make quite a few noises, and many of them it's acquired in its 128,000 miles. I gotta be honest, it hasn't worn those miles like a BMW would. Oh no. One thing I've got to say though, it does actually sound really pleasant. Let's test the brakes. Oh yeah, it goes from not working very well to locking up on conditions like today. So this is going to be interesting and fun. So third gear is a great gear for, you know, these kind of country lanes. Obviously, with the mixture of tyres on it at the minute, gives you fantastically unpredictable handling. Yeah, you know, you just really want to treat it like a rally car. You got to use the brakes to load up the suspension. You know, drive it properly, really. Oh yes. Oh, you feel it just carve through these roads. Oh, it's just, you know, why don't more race drivers have one of these as a daily? Now the gearbox is crap. It's really not good. I don't know what it is with Peugeot and Citroën. They actually occasionally make some half-decent engines, but they insist on using this 5-speed gearbox. My old Peugeot had it, and it's horrible. It's a bit indistinct. You don't really quite know what's going on with it. And basically, it's just not a pleasure to use. Now, this car has an extra trick thrown into the mix, which is that the synchro on third is going. Now, really, some people would see that as a problem. I see this as driver training, because you really need to have your heel and toe on point to be able to get in there, but it's still not that much of a happy bunny about it. But the good news is that there's not really a lot of low-down torque, or any. The sort of worry those front tyres, as mismatched as they are. Oh, come on. Quite a bit of body roll. Quite a bit of body roll. You know, that's obviously because of the super plush suspension. But, you know, that's fine, because as a Peugeot driver, you're probably going to occasionally just, you know, mount the curb and things like that. And of course, when you then drop back off, it is actually quite soft. That may be due to the fact that there's a lot of air escaping from these tyres quite frequently. I'm afraid my partner here is corpsing. He's falling apart. This is the second time today I've nearly killed him. Really, we need to ask the people at home that if you haven't already, go and watch the review of the Honda Odyssey that Lawrie drove in New Zealand. And think, if you're going to be lumbered with that or this, which would you be lumbered? Which would you be lumbered with? This. It is comfortable enough, but I really, really have to struggle to not think about what I'm sitting on, what might be under that seat, and whatever's making the scratching sound in the door. I also just noticed another mark on the dash here, which looks like someone's just put a mug of tea straight on the dash. That can't have ended well. And by the looks of the stain around it, I don't think it did end well. So, yeah, there's that. And one thing in its favour, it's reasonably economical. Quite a small tank, and you get plenty of miles out of it. So, you know, if you found one of these in good condition as a first car or as a, you know, winter beater or something like that, you could do worse. You could do worse. Now, this car does have an odd noise from one of the tyres, which actually seems a little bit better in the cold, so maybe it's just too frozen to make a racket today. But it makes a distinct either bearing or possibly flat spot type of noise, so that is maybe going to get investigated, but I believe this car is not long for this world. So if you're looking for a cheap 307 in great condition, look elsewhere. I'll now demonstrate to you the auto-folding seat system. As you can see, the system is operated swiftly and easily through application of the central pedal down here. It also releases a fine cloud of something to let you know that the system has engaged, and gives you a gentle sort of punch in the back to tell you that the seats have lowered. Now, I would hate any of you at home to think that we are full-time hooligans or completely disrespectful of a car. We appreciate the fact that there may be many of you watching who don't even have a car, and you'd fully appreciate the opportunity to have, well, anything. And as shitty as this car is, it hasn't actually let anyone down. Lawrie's been driving it for quite a time. His mother's been driving it for quite a time. I actually drove it quite a bit last week, and it hasn't actually broken, has it? Has it ever broken down on her? No. So it's not actually broken down on anyone, and for that we kind of salute it. This car's had an awful lot of abuse, an awful lot. But it's taken it and kept going. So it might be showing the signs of battle and it's clearly got many, many scars, and, well, if it could talk, I think you'd have to shoot it. But we respect it. We respect the automobile. And so for that reason, we are now, and also as something of an experiment, we are taking it to get clean. We are not going to clean it ourselves for a couple of reasons. Number one, we don't have the time. Number two, seriously, it is cold outside. The blizzard may not have reached here, but damn, it's freezing. There's actually icicles on the car, like real proper icicles. It's that cold. So we're going to take it to the local hand car wash and see what they can do, because actually we reckon that, you know, with a bit of time and a lot of scouring pads, that this might actually be able to be, you know, lifted in quality just a little bit. This is all the stuff we are hoping is going to come off in the car wash. I thought this was, you know, a lot of chip marks. This is not. This stuff is on top of the paint.
Improve upon.
I should be like, whatever the strongest acid is that you have, just use it on everything.
Just attack it.
Can you even see? Is it not too dark for us?
No, I don't know. But, well.
Did he hit the car?
Yes.
He just whacked it, didn't he?
It's going to be really depressing if it's the same.
Yeah, that'll get the water thing off. We may have smoked too soon about the snow, but the guys here down at the hand car wash have really transformed the car. It's silver again. All the black bits are off the roof.
Car, stand in the road, car. That place is down.
They're going to get started on the interior in a minute. It may take some time,
Okay,
and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And the transformation is really quite incredible. No, it has not made it, of course, showroom perfect and pristine, but really it has improved this car dramatically. Look at this dash. It's once again this nasty shade of blue, but you can see it. They've got some of the more suspect marks off. Everything in here now, of course, is super glossy. We're basically sliding off everything. I think they went through a couple of bottles of the flash dash type stuff. And look at the outside. It's even better. The black stuff from the roof is gone. There's still a lot of marks, as you can see. So, you know, that's the only bad bit about it being clean, is now that the true horror is revealed. But even the back looks pretty good. So there you go. So that's the end of that review. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Now, sad news, I'm going to be hanging up my microphone, as it were, when it comes to reviewing real ship boxes, and I'm handing that duty over to Lawrie. So if you have a piece of rusty, horrid nastiness hanging at the end of your driveway and you just lust to see it on YouTube, and you want the long-haired one behind the camera to review it, you let me know, because at the minute that's sort of all I trust him to review. So get in touch with us. We hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that you do, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. A mile, not even a bloody mile later, and that happens. What a splat. I can't believe it. Have they no respect? Do they not know how few pounds we've just spent getting this thing almost good looking? God damn you, avian terrorists.